Welcome back to Ozarks Fox AM. It's time for another Intrigue Journal with Sean Paul, and this week he has a very special guest.
They were once believed to just be science fiction, but now robots are becoming more and more a part of everyday living. For decades, they've been building our cars and even preparing our food. The more we see, the less we are surprised. They are now starting to make appearances in our homes to help out and sometimes entertain, which is how this all got started. During the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, our world became more mechanized. Engineering was in full bloom, and would you believe a magician was responsible for the earliest form of robots? Robert Houdin, a French clockmaker, magic designer, and entertainer. He became so notable and famous for his accomplishments that decades later, America's first superstar would repurpose Houdin's last name by adding an I to the end. Robert Houdin transformed the art of magic when he incorporated wind-up figures into his magic act. There is a modern-day version of Robert Houdin, and his name is John Gaughn. Think of any modern-day superstar magician, and they will not only tell you that they have several props built by John Gaughn, but that the reason is because he is a brilliant builder and designer. When he's not creating amazing magic for television and Las Vegas magic shows, his passion is building and restoring antique automata. While working at the Magic Castle in Hollywood, we worked the same week as John Gaughn. During a break, I told him I would love to hear about his experiences building these mechanical masterpieces, and he graciously invited us to visit his legendary workshop. Thank you so much.
Well, good guy.
Yeah, and so we have a calliope organ in our theater, you know, and it's powered now by electricity, but it could have been powered by compressed air or something. Steam back then. And so sometimes they'd have figures coming out and hitting instruments. Would those be a version of automaton?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but back hundreds of years ago, a magician would see a normal clockwork automata and see the fascination it would have on an audience. And he would say, I got to do something like that, only I have to be in control of him. So he would answer questions back and forth. And so in order to do that, you would have the automata run or operated by somebody off stage or hidden away.
Right.
So it would still appear like it was a wind-up clockwork piece, but it was really had a hidden accomplice in there.
And would that have been Robert Houdin? Would that have been him? He would have been one of the pioneers as far as that goes?
Yes,
because he was a watchmaker.
Yes.
So he had that skill set.
Yes.
But then he was also a performer, and so now he's like combining the two elements.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And his approach was a little more complex, as you can see with Antonio, that it's a very poetic piece, but it has a great story behind it because it's a copy of a lifelike character.
Sure. And how prevalent was that within the consciousness of the audience that, well, it's not an independent machine. The machine is being assisted or directed off stage or something like that. How many people in the audience were aware of that? Or do you think they just bought in 100%?
I think
you
they
just turn the key and wind it up and it just does somersaults?
You know, I'm always fascinated how primitive the human brain is, because you can put like a J. Marshall a sock on your hand.
Yeah.
I say, what are you going to sing? What do you want me to sing? Sing If I Had My Way. If I had my way, I wouldn't sing. Oh.
and do ventriloquism with the thing, and watch people in the audience, and they buy into, oh, that character.
The suspension of disbelief.
Yes, and when I do Antonio, I hear the voices out there. Oh, isn't that sweet? And people come. I had tears in my eyes, and they just really believe that.
Mm-hmm.
So
they allow themselves to just buy into the fact
Yes.
that it's 100% independent.
yes, yeah, they
Amazing.
just kind of float along with it.
And okay, and so Antonio, that's a reconstruction, or are there original pieces in it, or did you?
No, it's original,
100% original.
100%.
Okay, now that's incredible, right?
It is when you think that it operated in the theater constantly from 1848 all the way up into World War I.
But have you had to replace certain components within it?
I
to make it
try
function?
not to.
Really? So you try
No.
and keep it 100% original?
Yeah, I repair the part that needs replacing.
But you try and match it up with exactly what was there?
Yes.
So if it's wound spring steel, you'll try and match it almost
Yes.
identically? Yeah, and so you're not ever integrating any kind of contemporary mechanisms into these
No,
things. You're trying to make them 100%. What's the word I'm looking for? Pure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that must be a fun challenge.
Well, it is, and in trying to do the automata that are inside here, especially one that is important as Robert Houdin.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have something like that, I remember opening a part of it up, and there was his stamp signature right there, and I thought, oh my word! And I put it back together, and closed it up, and just set it down and said, oh my gosh. And at that point, I contacted some of the magic historians in Paris, and they helped me with the routine and went to the Bibliothèque Nationale and got a lot of information for me.
In our next segment, I will ask John Gaughn about his 35-year pursuit in reconstructing one of the most famous automatons ever, the Turk, or also known as the automaton chess player. This automaton played chess with both Napoleon and Benjamin Franklin and defeated both of them. This incredible machine is said to be the inspiration for the modern-day computer. On the next Intrigue Journal.
Very intriguing.
I always am intrigued.
I know.
Thanks, Sean
He
Paul.
does a deep dive, doesn't he?
He surely does.
I love it so much. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be back to wrap things up right after this.
Don't go anywhere. Seriously.
Yes.
Stay here.
More food. More food.
I'm hungry still. It's so good.